I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Johnny Smith.
And this is On the Other Side of Things, the Smith & Sniff spin-off in which we answer your questions. Yes, we're back answering your questions again. And we start with one from a listener called Jake Bell. He says, hello, you SSGs. Next year, I intend to do a road trip with my brother and two mates. North London to Spa, to the Nordschleife, to Stuttgart, to Munich, to Auschwitz. I'm aware this doesn't fit in with the car stuff. Then the final destination, Finland, for the WRC.
Bloody hell, what an amazing trip.
Long old trip, yeah.
Can we come?
Buy a car. I would kind of change the parameters if there's already four of them, because he's going with his brother and two mates. So, yes, Ford Galaxy Gear. Well, his question, I was sort of preempted there, is I need to buy a car for this trip that will then be my daily as well. I drive around 30 minutes / 17 miles to work. Budget is around £5,000, but that can be flexible. My two current cars on that side of things are an 03 Honda S2000, which was my daily, but I don't want to put miles on it, and a £250 VW Fox, which are now daily. Love the crappiness and lack of care, but it's a bit slow, and I wouldn't want to do 4,000 miles in it.
Does he call it Mulder? I hope he does.
I've forgotten his first name was Fox.
Yeah, well, I think lots of people have. Yeah,
VW Fox Mulder.
So he wants a car. Wants a car. Let's just go over this again. He wants a.
Yeah. So
he's got to go to lots of places and end up in Finland via Germany.
Huge pan-European road trip with four blokes.
So they're all in one car.
This sounds like it. Yes. Now he said fuel efficiency plus comfort as his requirements, and adds, I do quite fancy a BMW estate. Budget's around £5,000.
Because £5's really good. I was expecting he'd want something for kind of banger money.
Yeah, £120.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does. It's a broad church, isn't it? But then he also, the stipulation that when it comes back, it's going to be his daily driver. I presume the Fox will then be released into the wild. Okay,
well, I think this is when diesels are good. And there's a lot of them being outlawed at the moment for various legislative reasons. A 520D is a good car.
But hold on.
What?
It is. Well, now, Jake said, the start of his trip, he said North London. So he, I think, needs something that's going to be ULEZ compliant, I'm going to guess.
Gosh.
So that's slightly, but not completely knackers the diesel. But for £5,000, I don't know if you'd get a ULEZ compliant 520D.
No. You've set us a difficult one here.
Deceptively so. Yeah. Because I thought, he said, I fancy a BMW estate. And I thought, oh, no, come, you can do better than that. You could get what could you get? It's fuel efficiency. For some reason, my first thought was, just get a really nice LS400. It'll be so comfortable for the big miles. But then, I don't know, fuel efficiency for the commute.
On a run, on cruise control, you might get 30, but you probably won't.
Yeah.
And round town they are appalling. So, but they are, unfortunately. They're an amazing car. But
now, again, using a bit of Miss Marple work on this, I'm going to say that if Jake does indeed live in North London, but his commute is 30 minutes / 17 miles, that is not commuting into London.
That can't be. So he's an out of London guy.
Out of London, yeah.
Oh, what? No, hark, Richard.
Hark. What, this way comes?
I'm thinking comfort, but I'm also thinking just an interesting vehicle. What about a Phaeton diesel?
Oh.
The V6 TDI.
Ooh.
Now, I think that they're around that money.
I like them apples. Should I get on the trader and just have a little sense check on this?
Hark.
But I like where you're going with this. Yes.
Well, because I know they're a long-distance beauty. I know a couple of people that have bought the V6 diesel for very long commutes. Like one guy, Tyneside to Milton Keynes on a Monday, and then back to Tyneside on Friday evening to see the family, and did that for like a year or more. And he said the Phaeton is just unbelievable at it.
There is.
Yeah.
On Autotrade, the cheapest Phaeton here is a 3-litre TDI V6, 4-motion, 5-seater.
Yeah, that's the pup.
148,500 miles. full service history, 5 owners. It's a 2007 car. It's on some excellent wheels. I think these are an optional alloy. They look really good. I don't know what they do to the ride, but they're on air, those, aren't they? So it might be all right. £2,800.
What?
Yeah.
But that's so below the budget. We've absolutely destroyed it.
I know. Well, let's. I'm going to do some scrolling down here because these. Oh my god, there's a really good, handsome one here as well for 4. And oh gosh,
presumably this chap, Jake, he's not like 20 years old, is he? Because I don't know if you'll insure a Phaeton.
He's got IS 2000, so I'm going to say that he isn't an insurable man, or he just takes the hit on whatever silliness that might be. But no, I think I'm going to guess. It's hard to know, isn't it? Again, mismarpling it. I'm going to say that Jake is a single man, or at least sort of not settled down, doesn't have children, and he's able to just bugger off for a month or so to do a pan-Euro road trip with his brother and a couple of mates. So I'm going to say Jake is 27.
Okay, interesting. Well,
I don't know why, but that's just my guess.
I think our decisions of Phaeton V6 diesel and possibly 520D estate touring BMW are solid choices.
Now, again, this might be age contingent on where Jake and his brother and his friends are in their sort of careers and whether they're now earning a salary which is mostly disposable income, perhaps. So if they're staying in hotels, if they're camping, will the boot of the Phaeton be big enough? I mean, it's pretty big, isn't it?
It is. It's one of those things people forget, that those generous sized saloons have got capacious boots, that they're just a different shape. You know, they're all right. They're really good.
So here on budget.
Ow!
Is it?
Ow!
What?
Ow!
What?
Ow! Fuck!
You all right?
Oh, I've just got the worst. The worst cramp in my leg. Oh
my God!
So sorry. I had to
Jesus Christ! I thought you were having a heart attack or something.
Oh shitbag! Oh, that's really hurt. I had to get up and hang on. I'm just going to punch my leg. Ow! Shitting hell! Oh, that's so horrible. It's like being electrocuted a bit.
Bloody hell.
It's because I've been on my feet all weekend, and I haven't done any sufficient stretching, Richard. Sorry.
Yeah, always got to stretch it out.
Oh, God, that really hurts.
As Taylor Swift said.
You're right, mate. Sorry, but Weston's just come into the room and gone, what on earth are you doing?
I'm not surprised.
Punching your own leg.
Do you know what? My first thought was wasp. He's been stung by a wasp.
No wasps. Do you know, I've not seen any wasps this summer.
There's one in my porch at the moment. You can come and look at it if you want. Can't get a bastard out.
Can you send it up in a Tupperware container?
Yeah, can you imagine posting a wasp to somebody? I'd love to give it a go. I mean, does that count as cruel? Because nobody likes wasps, so they're not going to go, like the RSPCA are going to phone up and go, you're in trouble now, mate.
No, beekeepers post bees.
Do they?
Yeah, they post bees. My friend Nick, he gets queens posted to him.
Oh, okay.
It's true. But he hasn't written a letter to Otosot, so we can't talk about
that.
Yeah. Sorry
right.
about that, everybody.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say that they're on budget, $4,999, Phaeton 3-litre TDI, V6 4Motion, full service. History, 113,000 miles. It's a 10 plate, this one. It's black and it's on excellent wheels, and it is, just a quid under $5,000, and it looks good.
Wow.
So, there's a facelift. If he wants to up the budget to $6,000, there's a facelifted Phaeton. They gave it a chromia grille.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if there's any other advantage to that, except it's just a bit newer. It's a 2013 car, 87,000 miles.
Well, I think we've answered that. I think we need to give another question some airtime.
Well, it feels appropriate to be spearing down the Autobahn in Ferdinand Piech's Greatest Folly.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, well, there we go. Jake,
it should have a bumper
It
sticker. Should say, my other uncle is Ferdinand Piech, or something like that.
Didn't Ferdinand Piech have about 19 kids, though? So you could just have a bumper sticker that said, my dad was Ferdinand Piech, brackets probably.
That's a great idea. I've got a letter from a chap called Lewis.
Yes.
Johnny, what was the most eye-opening crash test feature that you or someone else presented from your time on Fifth Gear? On the other side of things, I've been listening to your podcast for the last couple of months, and I've really been enjoying your hilarious anecdotes and interesting stories from your respective TV careers. It's definitely helped me through a difficult time right now, and listening to your podcast has kept me going. So thank you very much, you sweet, sweet guys. Well, Lewis, absolute pleasure. Thank you for listening and joining us. You've got an enormous amount of useless podcasts to catch up on if you really wanted to kill some time that you won't get back. So we did used to do these crash tests on Fifth Gear. They were pretty consumery and quite eye-opening. I remember one of them. In fact, I remember the noise of it distinctly. It's one of the things I can keep replaying over in my mind, and that was the Focus, Gen 1 Focus that we crashed into a wall at 60 miles an hour, I think. No, it was more than 60. It was motorway speed, I'm sure. And the sound of the impact and then the kind of cable which propels the Focus along, where it kind of whipped afterwards. And all of the team who did the crash test at Myra said this is the fastest crash test we've ever done into a static object. Yeah. And they were quite worried about the strain on their equipment and things. And I think I drove the Focus in because we had to, for some sort of accuracy of the test, the car had to have a valid MOT. So we bought an MOT'd Focus, but it was a bit ghetto. I think I found some drugs in the boot. But anyway, I'm pretty sure. I think I was rooting around the spare wheel well and stuff, because I do stuff like that because I'm just a bit of a skip licker, and I thought, I'll just see if there's a toolkit under there that we can pilfer out. And I think I found some drugs. But that car, when it hit the block, made such a horrendous noise. And if you watch the video, I think it's one of the most watched Fifth Gear videos that's on YouTube. The car was about 5 feet long, 6 feet long when it came to a standstill, and it was really chilling and horrible. And then there was another one, a black cab, London black cab. That people in the back.
I don't think I've seen that one.
People in the back untethered. That was frightening. It wasn't even a very fast impact, but it was terrifying.
No, I can imagine that. Because you've been to, have you not seen like crash tests at Volvo's test centre? Yes.
It's so exciting.
But I've spoken to other people who've witnessed crash tests sort of in the lab, and they always say it's the noise.
Yeah, always.
The noise and the sheer sort of visceral energy, because you're used to only seeing those crash test videos in slow motion.
It's absolutely the sound. I mean, indoors is worse, of course, because it's amplified. But I've been to Volvo's test facility twice, and I've been to Thatcham, where they do the Euro NCAP, and I was there to witness a couple, but the one that stuck out was the Honda CR-V, the brand new CR-V at the time. So there was loads of Japanese officials from Honda really eagerly awaiting this result, because it kind of, as with a lot of these things, safety dictates whether a car will sell to a lot of audience these days. So that one was pretty interesting. Yeah, the sound was really good. And I watched offside head-on, then a side impact from like a sled. Yeah. I like that one. That one's good. And I think I might have helped to load a dummy, but because the dummy is a human weight, they have to use like a small engine crane to put them in.
I've seen this. I've seen footage of this, because that's the thing. It never occurred to me until I saw this. Of course, they're the weight of a person, so
they are.
You can't just chuck them around like shop dummies.
Oh, actually, I've done the Range Rover Velar. When they first launched the Velar, I was there to watch them smashing one of those up for the first time. So that was exciting. Wow. Yeah. They are amazing if you ever get the chance to watch them.
Yeah, it's something I've never done, and I've always sort of quite fancied it in a macabre kind of way. But
well, maybe we should do a Smith and Sniff live at a crash test facility one day.
What? They'll do a crash test halfway through the recording.
Yeah, we'll just
I'll just make it one of the things at the end. The second thing I've got to tell you is there's going to be a crash test now.
It'll be, what does a guy with no name on his mountain bike riding down the street, what happens when he gets hit by someone with a short MOT on an Astra?
Well, hang on. Don't they now test all their active safety systems with inflatable cars and these sort of like little
pretend
cyclists and kids running out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we see which car is best at avoiding a no-known full suspension mounted by a guy who's weaving a bit because he's overdone it on the cans in his bag.
That's exactly what we should totally
want to put on the list for the future. I have a question here from a listener who has asked not to be identified.
Okay, so I won't read them out.
No. She says, "Hi guys, lesser spotted 20-something female listener here. In case of broadcast, please protect my identity. Let's just say I'm not sure how association with two middle-aged men talking bobbins with a side of cars would fit with my reputation." She's sent some pictures in. Says, "Before you view the attached photos, allow me to set the scene. It's a warm summer afternoon somewhere near Bath/Bath. We're making our way down to Devon. Eyes peeled for square-bodied American trucks, leggy jag saloons, boat ramp spec Defenders that are 90% corrosion, etc., etc. All with the obligatory Devonian pinstripes." Is that a thing? Devonian pinstripes? Interesting.
Oh, yeah. I have to think about that.
Yeah. "The motorway is chocker and the dual carriageway not much better. In a service lay-by, we see a red van displaying some sweet, sweet sill rust as the occupants enjoy the ultimate picnic. Backs to the dual carriageway, tartan thermos, folding chairs, soaking in a mediocre vista." So supremely West Country. And I scrolled down to the pictures. It's a Citroen C15 van with one wheel trim missing. And it is indeed, like, the vista is, I mean, it's not like a chemical works, but it's just a very flat field. There's nothing there. And this really shabby van with a roof rack on it. It's an amazing scene. But that's the listener has sent us this just as an aside. Their question for Otosot is, have you ever performed a pit stop piss? They explain, this is where, in slow-moving traffic, driver and passenger switch to allow the driver to find a pissable vista nearby while the passenger keeps the vehicle moving before running back to regain original positions to rapturous applause from surrounding vehicles.
I haven't been applauded, but yes, I have done that with my ex. I had to get out and she kept the car creeping, as it were. And then I had to do a little jog. I mean, the road, the traffic was extremely heavy. It was walking pace, and it was one of those ones where I've been trying to spot the right verge, and I'd been too choosy. So by the point of no return, it was sort of like you were pretty much urinating on display at this point. And it was sad because I wish I'd made the decision earlier. So there's some advice to all of you. Go with the first option. Don't hold back.
Well, because you always get frustrated with me if we're in a car together and I go, I need to stop for a nature wee, and then I'm a bit choosy about spots, and you're always like, just pull in and do it, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, completely.
It's fair enough. I'm the same with parking spaces. I have terrible indecision about parking spaces for some reason.
Do you?
Yeah. Drives my wife nuts. Just park somewhere. Oh, yeah, I don't like that one. It looks a bit narrow.
So yeah, I have done that. And as a side note, can please people stop tagging us in on Instagram of pictures of the roundabout where something happened to me a few months ago, because I think we should sponsor this roundabout now out of pure guilt.
Funnily enough, this listener with the question about pit stop pisses has added a PS. She says, my brother tried to set up your... you can tag businesses and stuff on Google Maps.
Yes.
Her brother tried to tag that roundabout and label it Johnny's Karamak Emporium. But Google have deemed it not relevant.
Not relevant? Well, I don't want him to prove it.
Yes.
Don't prove it.
Maybe they're worried about people excitably pulling up on a dangerous stopping spot to get a light-coloured chocolate bar. But anyway.
I've seen this roundabout more than ever now because of DM'd and Instagram story tags for us. But yeah, so yeah, I have done it, and sometimes you just gotta. I feel sorry for women though, because it's just not as simple. It's just simple.
I've not done this entirely because I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger seat of a car full of people in London, queuing up to Hammersmith Bridge when you could still drive over that. And I was absolutely desperate. And finally we came near a pub, and I'm just going to have to go in that pub. The traffic's moving so slowly. I will just go in the pub, have a wee. I'll come and find the car again. Yeah. Came out of the pub, and they'd got through, people who know that area, there's those width restrictors at Hammersmith Bridge, and it just slows everything down a lot, and it was busy rush hour time anyway. They'd got through the width restrictors, and suddenly it opens up and you're free and off north of the river. So I'd run across Hammersmith Bridge to find my mates in the car because they'd gone further than expected. So that's the downside of that strategy of going, I'll catch you up. Traffic's moving slowly. Doesn't always work like that. Sometimes you get an unexpected surge on.
You've just reminded me of the fact that, do you remember when the day we bought the Eagle Quest?
Yes.
We pulled into that pub car park to take some pictures of it and also have a cheeky wee.
Oh yeah,
there was some woods nearby. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah, we got that was one of those privatised car parks, and we got fined £80 for that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so that piss stop cost us £80.
Yeah,
we could have gone to a curry house and had a really glorious dinner.
Yeah, what, at 3 in the afternoon?
At 3 in the afternoon, with all the trimmings.
Yeah,
for what that urine stop and a couple of cheeky photos cost us. Sad. Sorry, very sad.
A listener called Sean McGee, has a question that relates back to, we were talking on the last Otosot, I think, about switch blanks in cars.
Yeah.
Sean says, I was listening to your chat about blank buttons on Otosot today. I have an Alpha Julia quad fog, and despite being top of the tree, it has blank buttons in it, including what, as far as I've seen, is a mystery button. 2 are on the wheel right in your eye line. 1 would have turned the radar cruise on and off, but it's not fitted in my car. You can add radar cruise to a quad by adding said button and updating the software, because as standard, quads come with all the sensors required. That's a whole separate area, but that's quite interesting. Cars that have the stuff fitted, but they charge you extra just essentially to activate a button and then an activation.
It's weird, that.
It is weird. My favourite one, which I put in one of my trivia books, was the Lotus Evora. All Evoras had folding side mirrors. The motor was there, the motors were there, and everything. All you had to do to activate them was either pay Lotus like £400 when you ordered the car, or don't order them, get the car. It was a folds mirror control inside. Just go to a parts place, get the mirror control with the folding function on it, switch it for the one that didn't have that marked on it, and hey presto, your mirrors would then fold in.
That's just so strange.
I presume it's to sort of streamline production efficiency and, economies of scale and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Sean
kids
says,
call those things hacks.
They do, don't they? And it does feel like a hack, that. Anyway, so Sean says the other blank button is there because the same wheel is fitted to the Stelvio, and the button is for what I assume is some form of hill descent feature going by the symbol on it, but it isn't fitted on the Julia, obviously. It gets better. On cars with the heated seats / steering wheel, Alpha add a little panel of switches under the aircon controls. There's 3 buttons here, 1 for each heated front seat, 1 for the heated steering wheel, which Alpha don't move over to the driver's side for right-hand drive cars, and a 4th mystery blank that I have never seen used on any image of a Julia or Stelvio interior. The button appears to be blank no matter what spec you give your car. I'm hugely intrigued by the button. It seems strange to have designed a panel like this. I hope one of your listeners may be able to enlighten me about its function.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether it's Italian police spec.
Oh, that's a good answer.
They use Julias, don't they? And
they do, yeah.
So maybe it was... But it seems odd that if you buy the top spec quad fog, you don't want to see blanks because you've bought the top of the tree. You've got the flagship. And what I know, I was actually perving over them this weekend because it's still my daughter's favourite car.
Sean has very helpfully sent pictures with his message, and including a picture of this panel. And here's this weird blank, and you sort of look at it and you go, well, now, if that was never intended for anything, then there's ways you could have rearranged it so it wouldn't be like that. Make the heated wheel button double width and pair the heated seat buttons on the other side. Very strange. So, but yeah, I mean, imagine if you're Alpha the Italian police are probably quite a strong customer, and for PR reasons, it's good to have your cars used by the police. I think car makers often feel that. Makes you seem reassuring somehow. Unless you hate the police, I don't know. Maybe people in Italy hate the police, but so you think they'd have there's good communications between them. So if the Italian police went, oh, by the way, when you're doing your next saloon car, make sure you leave space for us to have a button that I don't know what it would do.
Yeah,
but anyway,
a public address system button.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And Alpha gone, well, since it's you, yeah, we'll do that. No worries. I don't know. Anyway, if anyone knows...
We need to discover this. So,
that would be... Well, this is the thing. So this really is not a question that we feel qualified to answer, though your suggestion was very good. But if anyone listening knows why there's a mystery blank on the aircon panel of the Giulia and Stelvio between the heated seats and the heated wheel, let us know.
Well, this next letter might be another one of those where I suspect our intelligent listeners will be able to be more help than we are. But this comes from Scott Runciman. Dear Eagle, Smith and Sniff Quest. That's our private detective names, obviously.
Yes.
Or military call signals. I'm looking for some advice on what car could replace a broken BMW i3. Me and my partner are fans of small, intelligent cars, and our i3 has served us extremely well for nearly 3 years. It's an 8-year-old, 94 amp-hour, 33 kilowatt-hour range extender model, unfortunately with the non-correctly sided Style 428 turbine alloys.
Yeah. Because they used to be handed.
That's right. We live in a flat with on-street parking, and therefore we have no opportunity of charging at home. So having the little petrol backup of the range extender has been brilliant for us. But a few months ago, the engine in the i3, all 650 cc's of it, completely shat itself and now no longer runs, which effectively halves the range of the car. This is quite inconvenient on that side of things. Yeah, we've been told by one BMW specialist that the engine was run on super unleaded, which is simply too high an octane for the little engine, and it's bent the crank.
What?
BMW themselves, though, disagree, saying the crank is fine and that it's an electronic issue. But even after opening a technical case with BMW in Munich and checking the engine has compression, spark, fuel and air, they are none the wiser. And only advice is to start replacing ECUs at random at a cost of £200 per hour before parts.
Bloody hell.
Needless to say that at this point I decline their services. My partner is a florist and loves having a boxy, eco-friendly, most of the time car to deliver her flowers in. She also now swears off any non-electric car as just being slow. Even a T-Roc R she hired by accident due to the i3's short range, telling me afterwards the gearbox was rubbish.
Hired by accident?
I love that.
Like sleep hiring or something.
Yes, it is. It is. I've looked at Skoda's Yeti, Mini Clubman and Countryman's, Jeep Renegade, lots of other small but boxy cars, but none tick the box quite like an i3, even with its idiotic rear doors. It's important that the car be spacious, as our other car is an Alpine A110, which can only manage 2 bouquets and a small centrepiece, as we've been forced to learn. Great piece of info, thank you.
Yeah, good benchmarking.
Do you guys have any thoughts on what to replace the i3 in with? Well, I mean, Scott, first thing I want to say is, can I throw this out to listeners? Because I think this sounds like the engine is not beyond redemption. I don't think it's shat itself fully, because if things like the crank and the valves and the pistons are okay, and am I right in thinking that engine is a scooter, BMW scooter-derived engine?
It is. I mean, I don't know that you could just hoik the engine out of a BMW scooter and drop it into as a replacement, but it is definitely derived from that, yeah.
So I'm wondering, is it better to seek the help of a BMW motorcycle technician rather than a car BMW specialist?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, a 650cc twin engine, there's no point in paying £200 an hour for, because you could... I mean, that's just going to kill you. So I with my sort of mend and make do brain, I would like to think that if you love this car enough, we should persist with it and try and get to the bottom of it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And I know those Rexes are pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good solution, I suppose. But I mean, I guess the i3 is now sort of in the fast-paced world of EVs is quite old tech, isn't it? In terms of its overall battery capacity and stuff. So, and it sounds like because of the living in a flat and not being able to charge at home, so a sort of something with a nice big battery and a good range may, if they did want another car. My thought, and I don't know if this fits all of the bill, but it feels like did you say likes boxy cars and likes an EV? No,
I know what you're going to say.
Budget. Kia Soul.
I was about to say Soul, the second gen Soul, because I ran one for half a year, and that will do 250, 260, 270 miles, I think, if you're really, especially in a city.
And the range-o-meter in those, I think, by my experience, certainly, is that they're pretty accurate, so you feel relaxed.
It's a truth teller.
Yeah. If it says you can do 250 miles, you probably can.
Yeah.
But
they're really good.
Yeah, I just think it's a really nice car. It's comfortable. Obviously, it's got lots of space in it for flowers and whatever else you might want to haul around. And range is pretty solid and truthful when it tells you how far it can go. Yeah, you could turn it into a van quite easily. That's as far as I've got with that. But I think you're right. Well, Soul could fix that engine. I think you should fix the i3, but consider the Soul. The Soul dynamically, as in damping and cornering ability, will not be as good as taut as the i3. Yeah, I think it is a bit mushy. Yeah, because it's more towards the kind of like relaxed, easy listening driving approach. But that's still a really good ride is nicer, because the i3 ride is always a bit hard, wasn't it? And so I'd imagine also, particularly if you're transporting centerpieces and things like that, a softer ride might be better, so you're not shaking all the flowers to pieces. Yeah. I thought you were saying transporting centipedes, and I was going to say, do they do that as well? Why would you do that? Posting insects, yes, why? There's no need. Leave them where they are. Yeah, good. I really hope, if anyone can shed light on this, and we will kind of put you in touch with Scott and his partner, please bring that on, because I'd love to help them out. I don't like the idea of that car kind of mysteriously being pushed to one side and dying. No, I think you're right. It could be something. Well, it could be something simple. It could be something horribly complicated, and the car gets thrown away. We just don't know. But I imagine somebody out there will. So if you do know the answer to that, then hello@smithandsniff.com. And if you've got a question that you would like us to answer in this half-hour spin-off show on a Friday, the same email address applies. But for now, thank you for all your questions, and thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye. Thanks, guys. Bye. Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. Bye.